Welcome everyone to the Proven Knowledge Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Church. I'm a music producer from Northeast Ohio. I began this weekly interview series to give you different perspectives on how to approach a career in the field from different artists, producers, engineers, and other great minds who share their stories on not only what's made them succeed, but also what has shaped them into the people that they are today. I hope you gain some real proven knowledge from the show, and that it helps elevate you in your endeavors on your own journey towards success as well. Let's get into it. Welcome everyone to episode 176 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. This is the Creators Series. Today I welcomed an artist and a model. He's originally from Gary, Indiana, had a brief stint in New York, and now lives in Miami, Florida. His name is Drew J. Drew actually reached out to me on Instagram, got connected a few months back, and said he had listened to some of the podcast. I was happy to have him on the show this week. Drew gave an overall great perspective about being able to, finish what we start as creatives and what that journey has meant for him. Being able to express his creativity in two different lanes, modeling and music. He talked about the recent music he's dropped, most notably being his EP called Man of Silver that dropped earlier this year. He told us the story behind that, his recent single called Forget Not as well. He also talked about working on a new album that should be coming out very soon. It might even be out by the time this episode drops. Just really embracing, who he is, staying true to himself. And we also got to talk about, finding your real core group of supporters and how important that really is. Whether they're fans or people that you work with closely, just finding those who believe in you and your vision. And for Drew, I think that's been super vital as well. I could tell he's just very, tapped in with, the creative side of pretty much just life in general, finding the beauty in the little moments. And I think that's going to separate him moving forward, no matter what he's doing, what he's putting out there. And I look forward to, staying in touch with him moving forward. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. So without further ado, let's get into it. So welcome everyone to episode 176 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. This is the Creators Series. Today we have an awesome guest. He's done modeling, he's done music, all kinds of good stuff. He's from Gary, Indiana originally, New York at a time. I know he's in Miami now. Everybody give it up for Drew. How you doing, man?
Doing well, Anthony. Doing well. Yeah. Appreciate everybody.
Yeah, once again, man, I want to say thank you for, getting in touch with me, reaching out, wanting to be on the show today. And, just to start off every episode, we have the guest give some background. How long have you been doing music? Like I said, I know you modeled first and then got into music. So kind of give us some background on that and what led you to want to get into being an artist.
Well, I've done music all my life. Started off as the little choir boy in the church. Singing and stuff like that. Then got into modeling in New York. Started really like looking after music that way. Just the New York greats and stuff like that. Listening to Biggie everywhere you went. Going to Brooklyn back and forth. And it started to get me in touch with like being an artist, learning some artistry from fashion and stuff like that, because both of those collide.
Mm-hmm.
So now like started my music career and stuff like that. Started a label, and now I'm here.
Yeah, man. Kind of like one thing leads to another. Sounds like so.
Yeah.
That's super great, man. And I've talked to some models before that actually do music as well, and they kind of have viewed it as they're both forms of expression. You know what I mean? Just in different ways. So I think like it sounds like it's the same for you as well. It's just kind of different forms of expression. And is there a big difference between the two for you as far as like how you've approached each different stage of those two things, or is it kind of just you just want to be yourself through and through and kind of let the people that receive that come to you as they will?
No, I don't. I really don't find a difference with fashion and music.
Mm-hmm.
It's both like they're both an art form. You have to definitely emote with both of them. Just a different type of emotion.
Mm-hmm.
To where it's now like with fashion, you're gathering the clothes, looking good in them, and and giving that designer that je ne sais quoi, you know.
Mm.
Whereas it's like, it's more about fitting in with the beat, with the music and stuff like that for artistry. Both are an art craft. I feel like you should sing the way that you look. So that's how I kind of like gather that and really promote my artistry. You know.
What do you think was, so let's focus on the music here too for a minute, is just, what do you think was the biggest challenge, especially when you were starting out and you wanted to be an artist, you knew that was a goal that you had in mind. Could have been songwriting, could have been even recording vocals, things like that early on. What do you think was the big challenge you had to get through to be more comfortable with having your own voice and having your own style?
Well, honestly, Anthony, the biggest challenge that I had was finding people that could help me make music and see my vision in my voice. There's a lot of artists that want to talk about, this, that, and the other thing. And it's just like what my message is with my music is a little bit similar with the way I put it down and how I broadcast my voice. Might be a little bit different,
Mm-hmm.
So having people see that vision and believing that I could do that was the biggest challenge.
Yeah,
really.
It's very good to find that support system too, because I feel like that's important for any creative in any industry, no matter what you're doing, is finding the people that do believe in you. And I think a lot of people, they kind of want it to be people that are in their life already, maybe friends and family. But sometimes I don't think we always have that. You know what I mean? It's almost like we got to find these outside people or these people we've never met. They might believe in us more than the people we've known for years. You know what I mean? Which is crazy to think about. But, once you find those people, it's like, that gives you even more confidence than you already had in yourself at the time. And I know even for myself, starting out, that was a big thing as far as, just finding like your tribe, you know what I mean? And finding like the people that will support you at every step of the way and every step of your journey. So I'm glad that, that's the same for you as well. And that is very much a challenge, finding that in the beginning and, just kind of getting those people that, like I said, they're going to support you no matter if you're having downs or you're up, or they support whatever you're releasing, whatever you're working on. You just show them, what you're doing. So definitely appreciate you for sharing that one, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. That's the hardest thing for any artist, finding that team, that platform. And then second, like finding the audience members that want to hear it, like knowing that we all feel the same things and we all are going through stuff and we just want a way to emote, we want a way to like look beyond that and get to the positive, get through to rather. It takes a lot, and most people when they're first starting out, I don't believe they know that, but the way that you're speaking, Anthony, you know it all too well, just like I do. So get it.
It's definitely things you just got to work through, and really just trying to gain. I think, like I said, when you gain the self-confidence in what you're doing, everybody will see that, or not everybody, but the people that will see that and will relate to that, that's going to help you out so much. So definitely a note to all the listeners out there, if that's something you're going through, just keep that in mind. It's something you got to kind of just work toward and see it pay off over time. So, but I definitely want to get into, what you've been doing recently, because I know you dropped an EP, you dropped some singles this year. Talk to us about the recent songs you've been putting out, the stories behind some of them. What do you think was your favorite release so far this year? And what can we expect next too? Like, what are you actively working on as well?
All right. Well, great question. I dropped that EP, Man of Silver. It goes from high school. So I knew I wanted to be in the music profession or a music professional, a vocalist in high school, just doing choir and everything else. Track, being that athletic type. And I dropped the Man of Silver because I always came in second place, man. Ran the 4x4, always came in second place. So I was just like, it got to me. And so I was just like, all right, cool. Well, I started to fall in love with the metal silver. And because out of all of it, at least I placed, So not as good as gold, not as bad as bronze, and I didn't get effing ribbon. You know what I'm saying? So in that I was just like, I was like, all right, cool. Let me expand that and show people how I feel. And so dropped that. I had a couple things coming out. Like, my favorite, to answer your question, is Forget Not. Forget Not was it's. I want it to be a proverb for people that are going through things. Like, everybody, like I said, has hard times. Everybody goes through things and stuff like that. And I want that song to uplift others. I want it to. I wish it to. I pray for it to actually be, motivational, inspiring for everybody. So definitely, if you haven't listened to it, guys, please go listen to it. Things that are happening new. I'm about to drop a fire album. This project has been in the works for maybe 5 months now. My label. Shout out to Big Will, y'all. He's my label, is like head manager, coach. He's definitely helping me out with this project, getting me like producers and stuff like that. Love the dude, man. He's amazing songwriter. Helped me out with a couple ballads. Also, he's an amazing vocalist. So you're going to be hearing from him as well. He was on the EP as well. So long story short, yeah, this 4x4, because I ran the 4x4, the track and stuff like that. And what I had to do mentally for preparation while I was running it, and as well as I placed, and what I felt about when I placed. And I just said placed in silver. So,
Hey, hope you're enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick minute out to let you know how you can become a monthly supporter of the show. So if you click on the show description in your podcast platform, you'll see the words support this podcast toward the bottom, and you can follow that link to sign up. You have the options of donating $1, $5, or $10 a month, and that'll be used towards making the show a better experience for you as the listener. That means new and exciting guests, giveaways, and a lot more that we can continue to provide for you. So feel free to click that link and check it out, or visit anchor.fm/provenknowledge/support to contribute today. And for now, let's get back into the episode. Yeah, man. I honestly love that. That's a very unique outlook too, I think. And like we talked about earlier, just finding, people that can relate to that. I think a lot of people would be able to relate to that too. And I feel like we always hear people, they sing, they rap about, being on top or just always being the best. But it's like, even that, I feel like that's more of a like striving for greatness. We're not always considered like the best, but we're still the best us. You know what I mean? Like, you're the best you doing what you do. So I think that's like such a great message. And I definitely think that is going to resonate with a lot of people. And just from the EP, I was going to say Forget Not too, because that I was running that back yesterday because I was trying to get ready for the episode. I was like, this is fire. So even just that track alone, man. And I'll definitely be checking out the album. Definitely super excited for that. And early congrats on that, man. Because I think that's super great. And sounds like it's going to be the next chapter of your story, really. Being able to tell some different sides once again. So.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely.
Like you said, just because there's a lot of winners and we remember the winners, yet there's a lot of people, that have strived and came up second best. I want them to feel like appreciated. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it goes to people that try, because you don't try, you won't get it. As long as you try, you're a winner.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that do. Just know that you always succeed, man. Always. Yeah. So it's gonna definitely.
Yeah, man. I feel like just by being able to wake up every day and do what we love too, that right there is a form of winning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, you got to think about what we take for granted every day, and even just the people that might not have access to be able to do what they want every day, at least not, in the beginning or where they're at in their stage of life. So I look at that too, and I'm just like, man, being able to do what we love every day, that is a form of winning. So yeah, I totally agree with that, man. And just being able to strive for greatness and always be looking towards what's next as well. But early congrats on the album, man, because I think it's going to be super special. And congrats on all the stuff you dropped so far, because I think it's awesome. And I definitely want to get into outside of music, just day-to-day life. What do you think you've been doing to, take your mind off of creativity, but also kind of refuel yourself to be able to get inspired to make some new art, to make some new things and put those out into the world? Like, what have you been doing? Have you been going on jogs, working out, just playing video games? Like, what do you do to kind of go live life and then come back and feel like, fresh and ready to go?
What I usually do is, like, I always stick to a routine, I'm getting ready for this 5K with my brother and my uncle. So gearing that up, and I run a 5K at 5 o'clock. I didn't run it today. At the same time, anything can be inspiring for creativity. So what I like to do is try new things, because if you try new things, you get new results. I believe that old proverb, hands down, 100%. So, like, having your own daily routine to start out the day, and then actually going forth in a new form of art or a new form of, like, just exploration, something new.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Miami right now, either going to the beach or like, actually, like, dipping my foot in, or going to the zoo or something like that. Seeing people, like, eat ice cream could spark inspiration, and I could be like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I want life to be like a scoop of Rocky Road. You know what I'm saying? Even though I've had roads before. Like, and that, that's a bar. So it's like, so I can actually, like, go about that way.
Mm.
But the whole thing is just, that's exactly what I do. That's exactly what I'm looking for. New experiences to share them, and hopefully people like them. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I love that. Almost like you find the creativity in the smallest things. You know what I mean? And you're able to like see something that maybe someone else would see and just be like, "Oh, that's ice cream. Like, what are you talking about?" But then you see it as something totally different. It sparks like a whole new idea. I think that's the creative mind, like 101. You know what I mean? Just being able to find the beauty in all these different things. And I definitely love that too, because I think that, like I said about taking things for granted, or even just like maybe we don't view our everyday lives as like super exciting, or just everything we do on the daily, but it's like those little moments will end up stacking up as stories. And then you come back to them and you're like, wow, there was a lot more here than even I thought in the moment. So then, when you're making a song, or you're, putting together a piece of content, whatever, it's like, well, now I can channel that energy into this new thing and make it something people can relate to in a different way. So I definitely love that. And that's like a new perspective, I think. And Rocky Road, man, that's an interesting choice. But yeah, man, I definitely see what you mean there. And I think that's super great as well. So yeah, love that you have that, man. And the 5K, man, I'll give you credit for that. I wouldn't even make it, a mile in a 5K. So I can't even imagine doing that. But
I know you can definitely either walk it or jog.
I was gonna say I'd be walking it. I'd take many hours to get through it, but that's all I could do. I'd kill over. They'd have to get the ambulance out for me. But
Anthony, bro, that's the one thing, guys. As long as you finish, then there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can walk it, run it, jog it. You can even crawl it. But no one can in front of you beyond you finishing it and you placing. That's the biggest thing. And about the Rocky Road, that's not my favorite ice cream. All right, so what came on top of the dome? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like peppermint chip.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure there's Rocky Road, aficionados out there, so they might appreciate that, but you never know. But I like that too about finishing what you started. Always try and finish what you started. So definitely super vital. And these are the last few questions we're getting into here. These are, again, life-related questions, and these are ones I ask on every episode. And the first one is, if you could go back 10 years ago, maybe give yourself a piece of advice, or maybe not change anything at all, what do you think you would do?
That's actually a very, very good question. You know what, Anthony? If I went back to where I was 18, I would be like, Drew, control your weight. You don't have to sing everything out full right. You know what I'm saying? Like, some things you can just lay your hands off of.
Mm.
You know, I think we all are perfectionists deep down in our soul. And so the whole thing is to control your weight is to control the things that you can, yet also let go of the things that you can't.
Mm.
And when I used to be in a past life, I used to have my hands just like, I want to do everything and be that person that does the artistry, does the fashion, does the singing, does the producing, mixing, all of that. When the whole thing is, I can just master one craft and meet other people that love it and that acknowledge it for its worth as I do. You know what I'm saying? As I acknowledge them and accept them. And truly, that's way more flavorful. So, yeah, I would say control your weight and just let things go sometimes.
Yeah. I'd say life's a lot less chaotic that way too, honestly, because I definitely relate to that as well. And if we flip the question then and we say 10 years from now, where do you think you envision yourself musically, just in life in general?
Like actually, what do you mean? Like actually, like to this date, 10 years from now?
I mean, well, we could say to this date or just 10 years from, 2023. So 2033, let's just say anytime in that region, where do you think you want to be?
Well, I mean, definitely with art, I know myself. So I know I'm going to win awards and everything else. I see myself performing in fashion weeks and, like in stadiums and stuff like that. And also, like Quaint for the community, like giving back to the community, helping the children out to find their art, and find what makes them precious, what makes them stand out, or what makes them love life like we do, even if that's, like handing out turkeys and being like, hey man, you're a star, like, hey little lady, you're appreciated, really being that elder that I see myself in the mirror to be.
Yeah, that's great, man. And like we said earlier, I think the simplest acts go a long way, and that's what people remember the most. So I think just being able to have those in mind is super, super awesome. And it says a lot about you too, and what you're all about. So definitely commend you on that as well. And do you have any final words of wisdom today for the listeners?
First of all, I have to be grateful and appreciate you for letting me on, man. Amazing dude, amazing podcast. I've watched a couple of his stuff, guys. Please subscribe to his YouTube and everything. Watch his podcast. If I had one wise word to say to everybody, no matter what you do, you can make it. All right? Definitely, if you just stick your head down, grind, you'll look up and find friends there waiting for you. Just keep on the path. No matter what, finish that 4x4. No matter what, you can place. As long as you place, you're a winner,
Yeah, man. Absolutely. I love that, man. And I appreciate you once again, man, for, like I said, even reaching out and wanting to be on the show. And I feel like you gave even more words of wisdom throughout the whole episode, man, because this was a great one. I had a great time, and we're definitely going to have to do it again soon, man, if you want to. Just let me know. We'll have to stay in touch.
Definitely, man. We're definitely going to stay in touch, Anthony.
Thanks, everyone, for listening today. That was episode 176. We'll be back this time next week. As always, hit the support button on your podcast streaming platform if you'd like to send any funds. And feel free to leave us that 5-star rating if you enjoyed today's episode. So we'll see you then. Thanks, everyone.